In the shifting landscape of global power, where alliances are constantly tested and redrawn, a new and formidable partnership is emerging on the world stage. Recently, a secret military alliance between Russia and China has come to light, sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles and military analysts worldwide. Leaked documents have confirmed Moscow's commitment to support Beijing's military ambitions regarding Taiwan, marking a significant and unprecedented new phase in their relationship. This revelation underscores just how far both nations are willing to go to challenge the existing balance of power. This is more than just economic cooperation or symbolic gestures. It's a deeply strategic pact, meticulously crafted to challenge the US-led world order and to assert their influence in regions long dominated by Western interests. For China, the prospect of Russian support could tip the balance in its long-standing quest to bring Taiwan under its control, emboldening its military maneuvers and diplomatic posturing in the region. For Russia, increasingly isolated by Western sanctions and political pressure, China offers not only a vital partnership but also a powerful means to counter its adversaries and regain lost influence on the global stage. The agreement goes far beyond words, encompassing the transfer of advanced military resources, technology, and intelligence. This marks a decisive shift from mere cooperation to concrete action, with direct and immediate consequences for the security landscape of East Asia. With the United States and its allies steadfastly backing Taiwan, Russia's involvement introduces a dangerous new dimension to an already volatile standoff, raising the risk of miscalculation and escalation. This alliance signals a united front against mounting Western pressure, reshaping global alliances, and dramatically raising the stakes for potential conflict on a worldwide scale. As tensions in the Indo-Pacific escalate, the world must now confront the sobering reality of this powerful new axis, one that could redefine the future of international relations and global security for years to come. The leaked pact details a robust Russian military support package for China, designed to close key gaps in China's armed forces. Russia will supply amphibious assault vehicles, anti-tank missiles, and armored carriers, crucial for any Taiwan invasion scenario. These assets directly address the logistical and operational hurdles of crossing the Taiwan Strait and fighting on the island. Russian specialists will also train Chinese forces in airborne operations, preparing them for rapid, targeted strikes. The agreement includes sensitive technology transfers, boosting China's long-term defense industry. This support gives Beijing a sharper military edge and lowers the threshold for considering force against Taiwan. The pact is a practical blueprint for enhancing China's warfighting capabilities. The Russia-China alliance dramatically raises the threat level for Taiwan. Russian hardware and training make a Chinese invasion more feasible, directly targeting Taiwan's core defenses. This emboldens Beijing and complicates US and allied strategies in the region. The partnership could trigger a regional arms race, as neighboring countries react to the growing power of this bloc. Taiwan now faces a more capable adversary, backed by Russian expertise. The island's defense planners must prepare for a scenario where the odds are increasingly stacked against them. The stakes for East Asian security have never been higher. NATO is watching the deepening partnership between Russia and China with growing alarm as the alliance faces a rapidly shifting global security landscape. The mood inside NATO headquarters is tense, with officials closely monitoring every new development and intelligence report. Leaders across the alliance fear the possibility of a coordinated two-front crisis, one where China makes a move on Taiwan while Russia escalates conflict in Europe. Such a scenario would stretch Western military and diplomatic resources dangerously thin, forcing NATO to confront simultaneous threats on opposite sides of the globe. This unprecedented situation would test NATO's unity, resolve, and ability to respond like never before, challenging the very foundations of collective defense and cooperation that have defined the alliance for decades. The "no limits" partnership declared by Russia and China just before Russia's invasion of Ukraine is now seen by many analysts as a blueprint for global disruption. Their growing cooperation signals a willingness to challenge the Western-led order and rewrite the rules of international engagement. Western intelligence agencies believe China could be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027, a timeline that has added new urgency to NATO's strategic planning. The alliance is now forced to consider not just regional, but global consequences of such a move. In response, NATO is ramping up its readiness, conducting more frequent joint exercises, and developing contingency plans to counter this combined threat. The alliance is also investing in new technologies and strengthening partnerships with Indo-Pacific allies. A crisis in the Taiwan Strait would not be limited to Asia. It could have immediate and far-reaching consequences for European security, potentially drawing NATO into a wider conflict and threatening the stability of the entire region. In this new era, NATO is preparing for a world where threats are no longer isolated, but deeply interconnected. The alliance knows that its ability to adapt and respond to these complex challenges will determine the future of global security. The Russia-China partnership is a coordinated strategy to reshape the global order and challenge U.S. dominance. Both nations use military, diplomatic, and economic tools to undermine Western influence and promote their own models. In international forums, they amplify narratives against Western interference and sanctions, building a coalition of like-minded states. The nightmare scenario for the West is a two-front crisis, Taiwan and Eastern Europe, forcing impossible choices. This is no longer a fringe theory but a central concern in Western defense planning. By acting in concert, Russia and China aim to erode U.S. credibility and expand their spheres of influence. Their campaign marks a new era of great power, competition, and instability. The Russia-China military relationship has evolved from simple arms deals to a deep strategic partnership. Western sanctions after Crimea and the Ukraine war pushed Moscow closer to Beijing, accelerating military and economic cooperation. Joint exercises near Taiwan and the Sea of Japan have improved their forces' interoperability and sent strong signals to the West. China now supplies Russia with critical dual-use goods, helping Moscow sustain its war effort. Beijing avoids direct military aid to Russia, carefully balancing support to avoid Western sanctions. This partnership is pragmatic, intimate, but always calculated to serve each side's interests. It's a relationship defined by strategic necessity, not sentiment. Despite their growing partnership, Russia and China are unlikely to form a formal alliance like NATO. China's doctrine of non-alignment and desire for strategic autonomy limit the depth of its commitment. Historical mistrust and divergent regional ambitions, Russia and Europe, China and Asia, create friction. The power dynamic has shifted. China is now the dominant partner, less reliant on Russian technology. Beijing ensures the relationship serves its interests first, extracting maximum benefit while minimizing risk. The partnership is pragmatic and transactional, not built on shared values or mutual defense. Internal contradictions will always limit its full integration. The Russia-China partnership will likely intensify, but remain flexible and pragmatic. China, as the stronger partner, will steer the collaboration to support its long-term goals, without entangling itself in Russia's conflicts. Joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and tech development will continue, projecting unity and challenging the West. The alliance compels the U.S. and its allies to prepare for threats on multiple fronts, straining resources and strategy. As long as both see the U.S. as their main rival, their cooperation will endure. For Russia, China is a lifeline. For China, Russia is a disruptive partner. This symbiotic relationship will shape global affairs for years to come. The secret pact between Russia and China marks a pivotal turning point in the global security order. This unprecedented alignment between two of the world's most powerful nations signals a new era of international relations, one where old alliances are tested and new threats emerge. Their agreement, forged behind closed doors, is more than a diplomatic gesture. It is a strategic move that will reverberate across continents. Their collaboration over Taiwan is a tangible threat, not just rhetoric, fundamentally altering the military balance in East Asia. Joint military drills, increased naval patrols, and coordinated air operations demonstrate a willingness to project power and challenge the status quo. For neighboring countries and global observers alike, This partnership raises the stakes and injects new uncertainty into an already volatile region. For the West, the prospect of a two-front crisis, one in Europe, another in Asia, demands not only new strategies, but also greater investment in defense, intelligence, and technology. Western nations must now rethink their military doctrines, strengthen alliances, and prepare for scenarios that were once considered unlikely. The need for unity and rapid adaptation has never been more urgent. Yet, beneath the surface, the partnership is constrained by deep-seated mistrust and divergent long-term goals. This is an alliance of convenience, not conviction. Each side wary of the other's ambitions, each seeking to maximize its own advantage while keeping options open. Their cooperation is powerful, but fragile, shaped as much by necessity as by shared vision. China, ever pragmatic, will continue to calibrate its support for Russia, seeking to maximize its geopolitical leverage while carefully avoiding economic fallout or international backlash. Beijing's leaders are acutely aware of the risks to their own economic stability and global standing, and will act with calculated caution. The world now faces a redefined security landscape, with the Russia-China axis challenging the West across all domains: military, economic, technological, and diplomatic. This new reality demands vigilance, innovation, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about the shifting balance of power. The future will depend on how the United States and its allies respond to this coordinated challenge. Will they rise to the occasion, forging stronger partnerships and adapting to new threats? Or will divisions and complacency undermine their position on the world stage? The era of uncontested Western dominance is over. Great power competition has returned, echoing the rivalries of the past, but with new complexities and higher stakes. The choices made now will shape the global order for decades to come.